Bro, this movie is so good.
This movie like made me excited.
A bunch of CGI and a lot of big action sequences and explosions.
I love the going into darkness effect.
His fight was like amazing.
I think the story kind of would have been better.
You've got these people who don't really have any sort of like superpower.
I didn't quite like the irreversible killing. After Spider-Man, this was like the best movie Marvel has.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Two Bytes Deep podcast. I'm Shafkat and I'm joined today by Ishmam and Merab. And today we're going to talk about a very interesting movie. I think Marvel is having a bit of a renaissance, at least in terms of the MCU. And one movie, at least all of us in this video in particular, we were hyped about as much as the general population was the Thunderbolts. We personally had a look into the movie this past weekend. We all enjoyed it, and we just want to like share our opinions and reviews to provide you a better opinion whether you want to watch this movie or not and feel as excited as we were when we ended up watching it. So, Mara, go ahead and give us a quick outlook into the characters that we had a chance to look into here.
Before we go into it, I would just want to make sure, to talk about like how we're gonna do this. So, firstly, I'm gonna go into like the intros of all the characters, where they came from into this movie. Then we're gonna have like a spoiler-free section, and for the people who want to stick around, after that, we're gonna go in depth into the meat of the movie and talk about our own reviews and go into like spoilers of the movie. So, just a warning beforehand. So let's get started. So in this movie, we get introduced to a ragtag bunch of characters who we've seen in quite a bit of past movies. They've mostly been antagonists in this movie. Some of them have been supporting characters, etc. So the most famous, obviously, is Yelena. She's been in a few movies since part 2, since the multiverse saga started. She's been in quite a few movies and TV series. We have Bucky returning back. He was like a major character in the first half, which was the Infinity Saga, but the multiverse saga, he hasn't been as active since Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We have the Red Guardian. He was also introduced in Black Widow. We have the Taskmaster. She was also introduced in Black Widow. And finally, we have US Agent and Ghost. US Agent was introduced in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier as the new Captain America, but later on he had a falling out and he became disgraced. And Ghost was basically antagonist of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Now let's get into the spoiler-free section. Shafkat, do you want to start off with how you felt about the movie in general? Well, what do you?
Yeah, I think it was really well packaged. For one, Marvel movies, you expect a bunch of CGI and a lot of big action sequences and explosions, like some sort of Michael Bay film, which isn't atypical of Marvel films. We do get a ton of that, but I think this particular one was very well packaged. It also has a very good feel good element to it, and something that you actually don't experience as much with Marvel movies. It's more about just this particular hero maybe building up and conquering some sort of villain or toppling an antagonist. But I think in this time around, there's something more great to it. And I think Marvel's starting to look into this particular sort of niche from the I'd say the X-Men, not the X-Men, the Wolverine and Deadpool movie, where they start to look at great characters a bit more. And I think this was an even better study into it. And just to put a preface into it, I think this is a very good direction that they took and a very good stepping stone into what's considered maybe the next phase. I believe this was phase 4. There's been so many phases at this time. I think this was the conclusion of phase 4.
Yeah,
this is they're moving into phase 5 now.
This is the conclusion of. I think this is the conclusion of phase
4 or 5, right?
5. Yeah, phase 5.
4 or 5. So yeah,
this is the conclusion of phase 5.
Yeah, this was the conclusion of phase 5. Phase 6 started off with Fantastic.
That's just how
completely
crazy
stopped
the
keeping track.
MCU is at this point in time. Folks have pretty much lost the plot since Infinity War and Endgame, and I don't blame them. It's been a bit diluted. You can just see that it's totally phase 4 or 5 already.
Initially, phase 4, I think, was super jam packed with shows, movies, etc. And Marvel had to cut it down on a lot of things because people couldn't keep track. Like I myself, like I think I've missed out on one or two shows. I watched most of them. I missed out on one or two of the shows that I haven't like kept in touch with, but like I've at least kept in touch with like most of the main plots that's going on. But yeah. But yeah, it's like it's been a bit confusing, especially for the general audience who doesn't have that much free time.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I guess like going back to the sort of like movie itself again, I think like a one line review I saw from one of the bigger reviewers was they call it an emotional gut punch, and I think it's like a very strong and very good description of what the movie actually like provides and actually sets the premise for. And yeah, go ahead, Ishmael or Merab, what you thought about how this movie was packaged
So
and how it was
I
presented to you.
yeah, so I thought like it was like a really good movie. I personally liked it a lot. I thought the good cast of characters was quite good. It's like especially fun to see like supporting characters and like villains, etc. Like people who you wouldn't on like imagine like being like the stars of their movies, like being set front into like the forefront of the movie and like them playing out their roles as like a new bunch of heroes. And you know it was quite good in my opinion. I liked like all the characters. I especially liked Yelena. I thought like her character had a lot of growth since we were first introduced to her in Black Widow. The US agent, like I he was like quite a bit of a hated character, but like I we won't get into the depth of it now, but like I honestly started liking him a lot more from this movie. Similarly, I thought Red Guardian was a gem in this movie. Like he was like very funny. He was like one of the standouts in the movie. Yeah, the rest of the characters were quite good too. Like obviously, and like the actors who portrayed those roles were standout. Obviously, like David Harbour, he I thought he was amazing as Red Guardian. Florence Pugh, like always, like she had like her acting was incredible. Yeah, and the rest like was like the rest of the cast was great too.
So I think my experience was a bit more different. I think I went into it like I didn't have much of an experience. Like I didn't have too many expectations initially. I was originally gonna see it before I think these guys, like a week before. But then I think I was in the movie while I'm watching it, and then Mehrab texts me in the middle of the movie, being like, "Bro, this movie is so good," and I'm like, "Okay." Then my expectations went up, and I was enjoying the movie so far. And after Mehrab's text, it was like not downhill, but it didn't reach up to the expectations that Mehrab hyped it up to be. Um, I always try to keep my expectations low going into movies. It wasn't a bad movie by any means. I think it was one of the best Marvel movies that came out in the last, I don't even know how long. Like, I don't remember the last Marvel movie I saw, and I was
I'd say
like, oh, that's a
since
good movie.
Endgame, this was the best one since Endgame.
Yeah,
Except maybe
yeah.
for the Spider-Man one. Except for the
Yeah,
Spider-Man
no
one.
Except,
worries.
like, I think
Like,
after Spider-Man, this was like the best movie
yeah.
Marvel has done so
Even then,
far,
like
and that's a long
I kind
time.
of like I love Spider-Man No Way Home, but like I honestly thought like a lot of it was due to the nostalgia element and like
Yeah, a lot of
bringing in
fan
the old
service.
like Spider-Man's. Like if you think about like the plot itself wasn't like that outstanding or anything at all. It
I
was just
think
like
there's just this thing about Spider-Man where it's like, he's just very relatable as a character
yeah,
himself.
yeah, for
Like,
sure.
I think, like, I see Spider-Man and then I'm like, oh, I want to read more Spider-Man, or I want to watch more Spider. Every time I leave a Spider-Man movie, it leaves me wanting more. So
And
I
it's
think,
always a great experience, especially the last Spider-Man. It was in general just a great movie experience.
yeah, yeah. But back to the original movie, I think in general it was like very nice. It was a good like change of like scenery essentially, because it's not the regular, oh, we're fighting a big bad and then ends with a big CGI fight, as Shafkat mentioned. It was more, I think, an interpersonal journey across all the characters, sort of tackling like mental health and stuff like that, and it was done tactfully, I would say. It wasn't done in a very like we just want to talk about mental health, so we're talking about mental health kind of way. And it was honestly like very nice. I don't know what else to say without spoiling parts of it,
Yeah, I think that's a good segue to
I
go
think
into
that'd be a
the
good segue.
yeah, for like the spoilers and the meat of it. So if you guys want to leave and don't want any spoilers in the movie, we highly recommend you watch the movie.
No,
It was it's
You have 3 seconds, or I spoil the entire thing right
yeah,
now.
it was a great
Okay.
movie. So yeah, we're gonna move into the spoilers. So firstly, what do you guys think about like killing off Taskmaster right away, like in the movie? She was like in all the promotion materials, all the trailers. I assumed she was gonna be a major character, so like watching her like die in like the first 10-15 minutes of the movie was like a bit shocking to me because like I honestly assumed she was gonna be part of like the Thunderbolts. Well, like
So for me, I think I never go into movies like watching trailers or anything. That's like a standard I've sort of set for myself. I never watch trailers. I never watch any marketing materials. I didn't even know what Thunderbolts was before someone mentioned Thunderbolts. I just walk into a theater and then I watch the movie and I experience it without any expectations. I don't want people like Mira ruining my experience. So, um, what I mean to say is, I think I didn't remember Taskmaster. I was like, oh, there's a random character who showed up. Oh, the random character died. I'm like, the funny thing was, I think I remembered every single other character. So if it was any other character that died, I would have remembered them. But because it was Taskmaster, that was the most like least memorable person for me. But I guess yeah, if they were pushing it in the marketing materials, that would be a very cool plot twist.
yeah, Taskmaster was like initially even like when like she kind of came up in the marketing because I also like had like wasn't like because like I read the comics, so like a Taskmaster is a guy in the comics, so I was like I even forgot like we had a Taskmaster introduced
We
in
had this
MCU.
conversation. I forgot.
Yeah, I even forgot like we had Taskmaster introduced in MC in Black Widow because like it was so long ago. It was during COVID, so I kind of blacked out. Like I remember Yelena and Red Guardian because like they were cared for, especially Yelena, and they were memorable characters. But like I don't know, like I kind of blanked out on Taskmaster. But like when I saw her in the promotion materials, I kind of dived back into her character and I rewatched Black Widow. So like yeah, I remember her more. So like I honestly thought like they were gonna make her a part of like Thunderbolts and like have her as a bigger character. And like apparently like I saw like some of like the like previous drafts of the script, and she was apparently not supposed to be killed off initially. She was supposed to like have like a big sister dynamic with Ghost, which would have been fun to see. But like the movie right now, it's also really good, so we don't really know what is gonna happen. But yeah, it's always fun to think of the what ifs.
I think there's two things that we're sort of not addressing yet, even though it's like the spoiler section. Um, like one is I forget the guy's name. I love the guy. Century.
Bob.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Paul?
Bob.
Bob, right. It was such an unassuming name. I knew he was gonna be so sick. Like I knew it from the moment I saw him, and then boy oh boy, what a character. Who
Yeah,
wants to
so
go next?
I went with a friend who never watched like who doesn't watch Marvel movies at all, and like when Bob was introduced, like he was like, this guy's gonna be a villain for sure, which is it
So,
made me laugh.
I didn't think he would be a villain. I thought he would be more like a insanely strong character who's just gonna
I
like.
know Sentry from the comics, so I was like pretty aware who is gonna be like and like his dark
For
side.
Made
the
Up,
void and
nothing is
everything.
ever spoiler free.
Yeah, like for me, like I've never heard of Sentry before. Like I only first Googled Sentry after coming out of the movie and sort of like trying to get a bit more of understanding of what I've actually seen. But yeah, when I first saw Bob, I thought like Bob's actually the person that's going to sort of like get killed or be some sort of like uh emotional sacrifice that helps build some sort of like bond or some
He
sort of
kind of was. He kind of was.
kind of was, but I guess like the way they went about it, they used the death of Taskmaster more to set that grounded nature of this movie, that people could actually die, and that help build that idea of camaraderie, that if we don't work together to get out of this facility, we might all actually be killed. So that probably helped set out that sort of like vibe over there.
Did you
But
guys
yeah, like,
actually think that like anyone was gonna die? Like I honestly never had the feeling like Taskmaster's death was almost played off like a joke to me. Like I don't know, like when I saw it, like I know what you mean. The movie is very grounded, but like Taskmaster's death was so inconsequential to me. I didn't even think about that. Like I forgot that the character existed before you guys mentioned it in the podcast.
I kind of think Like honestly, I kind of think like I had like this a small idea that maybe just maybe like Red Guardian was gonna die, and like that was gonna be a
Yes,
bigger
yes, yes, yes,
emotional
yes.
blow for Elena. Like that was like my even then like I wasn't like maybe that might happen. Like that was like something that went through my mind
I
during the
mean,
movie.
I'm happy that it wasn't any of the other characters, that it was
Yeah, for
Taskmaster that
sure.
died. I definitely would have. I probably would have cried if Red Guardian died. Like that would have been
I
so
think the
sad.
story kind of would have been better if Red Guardian died. Like I didn't want him to die, but I think it would have like in the end. You know when like centuries like boom, 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 like and that effect, bro. I love the going into
Dude,
darkness
yeah,
effect.
his fight was like amazing. Like it was like essentially what you'd assume like a super powered Superman would fight like, right? Like
It
immediately
was,
taking
I
out
think
everything.
it was even stronger because how do you like, you just become a shadow like instantly, like you're just disintegrated.
Oh
that
yeah,
that
the
that
power
puts
of the
this
void.
idea of the scale of power so well, right? You've got these people who don't really have any sort of like superpower. They only have like super strength. They could maybe lift a car or a truck or something, and this other person who could just maybe phase in and out of like walls for a few minutes. But then you have this person who pretty much bends reality, who sends people into this quote unquote like shadow verse. And how do you even sort of like compete as a pretty much regular human being against this super powered being, right? You're as a Yelena, you're pretty much just a very fancy martial artist, and the others are a bunch of super soldiers. So that as an audience, also like, yeah, I understand it's a Marvel movie. I know like they're all gonna survive because they have to for the next few
But
movies.
bro,
But
I tell you, if Red Guardian at that point was died, like when he was doing the boom boom thing, and like where like to somehow sacrifice save Yelena if Red Guardian died, bro, that would have been like I would have been so attached to this movie at that point.
Like thing is like I like you could like if they killed somebody off, it would have been probably this movie because like these characters are more like quote unquote expandable because like they aren't like set characters, they aren't like super beloved characters, but like you start liking them, especially like I loved US Agent's like entire arc. Like we see his backstory, like he was like American hero, right? He was a soldier, he was a hero. He was the ideal candidate to become the next Captain America if you discount Sam. And like when he became that, and then he had his huge fall from grace, right? He killed a person in broad daylight using Captain America's shield, and during Falcon and Winter Soldier, like we saw his entire arc, and like a lot of people started hating him, and then we saw like the man behind the mantle of Captain America, like who he was, and like the darkness he holds, and like how he's facing with it, and like Ishmael mentioned, like it's a lot of like things about mental health and everything comes into play. Like we saw that in this movie, which was like a very great, a good thing. Like I thought, like we got a much more depth to a lot of the characters. Another,
yeah, and it wasn't like a very, I'd say like it wasn't a very basic like power of friendship thing. Like, oh, we've got the power of friendship
yeah.
and we sort of like overcome everything. It wasn't like a very played out trope. I think, yeah. And again, like I was going back to that scaling of power and the way they sort of like approach like tackling the villain, like Void in this case, like he is pretty much born out of the darkness and all the trauma that like Bob faced as a kid with his addiction and everything. And it sort of like made sense that
Yeah,
in
like
this sort of Mr. Jekyll
domestic
and Mr.
abuse,
Hyde
addiction,
story, you
everything.
pretty much have to like rescue like Bob's alter ego out of there and sort of like bring Sentry out to actually cancel out everything, which makes sense, which wasn't really a bad way to go about it.
Yeah,
And probably the only way they'd probably be able to like do this without getting killed and like
I think
irreversibly or something.
I think the one I didn't quite like the irreversible killing, but it wasn't that bad because I kind of grew attached to the characters and I was like, fine, you can have that. But for like Bob, I think especially with the mental health stuff, I loved how they visually represented. I'm assuming what was bipolar disease, kind of. And then it was like how Bob was trying to kind of like punch and fight his way. Even when he was trying to get out, he was trying to punch and fight his way, where it was more like you gotta embrace the darkness within you to like kind of come out of this like negative space. And I think that was very relatable, especially like having gone through tons of like mental health stuff during like COVID. You don't just get to avoid it or punch and beat your way out of it. You just gotta accept that, you know, this sadness, this like like trauma and everything, it's just a part of you, and it's just gonna be who you are. And I think that message resonates with me a lot. And I think even like, have you guys played Celeste or know about Celeste?
I've heard of it.
Okay, so
I've
Celeste,
heard of it too, but like no, I haven't played it.
yeah, so Celeste, great game, you should try it. Celeste has a similar sort of message where it's like, um in some ways Celeste did it better, but I it sort of talks about the same message of how like there's an alter ego, and the alter ego is actually trying to fight you. But yeah, anyways, we don't have to get into that, but like if you haven't played Celeste, play Celeste. It's
Yeah.
a great game.
Another thing like we should like go into it's not a spoiler anymore, but like because like they've been advertising it like nonstop, but
Star?
like yeah, the star,
asterisk,
the new
fine print.
Avengers. Like,
Oh,
what's your
yeah,
take?
yeah.
Do you guys love it, hate it?
I oh On that topic, actually, I love the fact that they are the new Avengers. I kind of like it a lot because they were like, from the beginning of the story to the end, it's like, oh, we're not the superheroes, we're like the outcasts and blah blah blah. And then, they're now the main Avengers, which is funny and
They're
fun.
the
Like, and I
government
like,
sanctioned Avengers. They aren't
yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
main
I
Avengers.
like that. I like that
The
a lot, and
government
I like
sponsor.
what they do. I want to see what they do with it, especially with Fantastic Four,
Yeah,
Fantastic
yeah.
Four coming out.
Like, talking about Fantastic Four, like, do you
Wait,
guys
wait,
love
wait,
the
wait,
end
wait.
credits?
Wait,
No, yeah, let's not jump the gun too fast.
yeah, yeah. What I wanted to say was, where was it? Right. The Avenger stuff I really liked. I did not like the lady. Like, I forget her name, but
Valentina.
Valentina.
Valentina, right? Like, I remember her from Seinfeld. I don't know her name.
I remember her from Veep.
Okay. But yeah, like, I hate the fact that she got away with it. I kinda liked how they did it. I would have liked it if they maybe hinted at this kind of maybe happening in the background. It would have been more funny, and I would have maybe been okay with it. But I did not like how she didn't get caught, because I was like, okay, like there was no catharsis in some sense
Yeah, no,
inside me. Like, I really wanted her to get caught and then them becoming the Avengers. I would have liked that more. Or if they redid somehow how
Yeah,
they
like
did
you didn't get the
it.
satisfaction of like
If we look at it from another lens, it's she's now a tool for this new set of Avengers. Like Yelena says at the very end, right? Like, we own you, and like they could probably leverage her and her contacts and the FBI or whatever the government has to offer to like help them, because they are in by themselves quite underpowered. But then again, this is one thing I really want to talk about. Since we're calling this the new Avengers, right? And compare, naturally, you'd go back to the original Avengers and try to compare them. The power balance to compare the two, you've got like these five or six folks who we just talked about are like pretty much basic super soldiers, martial artists, very semi super powered people. And then you've got Bob Sentry, who I think even in the movie they say, right, like he's got the power combined from all the Avengers. He's got more power than all the Avengers combined, more than gods. And like how Bob was very specific, he's more powerful than at least one god, because the Avengers had at least one god. So I think it's a very unique way to sort of like balance out the powers between the two. I could sort of like see maybe Yelena with her gadgetry and her martial arts, and maybe with one Bucky sort of like take out Captain as something like an Iron Man, like they did in like Civil War, and like some of the few others work together to like take out the old Avengers, like a 1-to-1. It might be a very interesting way how they look at it, and maybe
Yeah.
if it's something they
Yeah.
look into it the future.
I think like one of the best things is like this movie like made me excited about the MCU again. Like I haven't been
Yep.
excited for the MCU. Like the only thing I was kind of looking forward to was like the new Spider-Man movie because I wanted to see what happens with Peter Parker after like everybody forgot about him. So like I wanted to see that happen. But other than that, like even like for the new Doomsday movies, I wasn't that excited. I was like, you know what, like it's gonna happen. I'll probably watch it, but like I wasn't like that excited. But like now with these things, new things happening, like it makes me more excited. Like I'm really excited to watch like the new Fantastic Four movie that's coming out at the end of the summer. Um, it's gonna be great. Like speaking of that, like, do you guys love the end credits where like you see like the Fantastic Four ship coming into the this universe? So you
I don't know.
we
I read somewhere this is apparently like the longest like end credit scene in like MCU history, at least so far. I'm not sure if this is
yeah,
like
I have no
verified.
idea about that. Well, like I just
Yeah,
loved
I'm
it
not sure if
that
it's a verified fact, but
Was
I
it
guess
that
like
long? It
I
wasn't
have
that long.
like
it
I
was
think
it
it was
was
like
a solid
two three
like
minutes
two three
long, and it was
minutes.
I so some I read it somewhere that it's considered the longest. I don't have anything verifiable against it. It was just something anecdotal that I've come across. So I went into it with very high expectations, but it to me it seemed to be a lot of comic relief, and just that last 3 seconds of the end credits that actually was substance.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I
I
mean,
like
I
how they
never
played the
go into the
Fantastic Four
end
music
credits
and
with
everything.
like expectations. I never go into the end credits with expectations that it's gonna be something mind blowing.
I don't know, for whatever reason, I felt like they were really upselling Fantastic Four this time around. So I just to share my experience. So I watched Thunderbolts in IMAX, and at least here in like the Cineplex chain in Canada, when you like start an IMAX film, they have that small like IMAX promo clip of like be in the movie, like live in the movie, and like the specialized screens and Dolby Atmos or something. I remember like at least in my screening of the Thunderbolts, they used that entire like screen prompt to upsell Fantastic Four. So all those like IMAX features, they had like the Fantastic Four like logo and characters in the background, the Fantastic Four movie playing. And then again in this movie we see that they're like bringing up the Fantastic Four again. Like everyone knows Fantastic Four is coming up, but to like dig into it like even further down a notch and show Fantastic Four as your main big hitters in the end credit, I think something big probably is going to come out of the Fantastic
And
Four
not only
movie.
that, I think it
I'm
also,
not sure.
yeah, I think that
Yeah.
another reason why they're like pushing the Fantastic Four movie as much is because, like, firstly, Fantastic Four, as you all know, is like Marvel's first superhero family, and like
Okay.
they in the with their release in 1961 was like what pushed Marvel into like mainstay comics, right? Like before that it was like DC, like Detective Comics, like they were like the biggest thing with Batman, Superman, etc. But like when like Fantastic Four came out, their popularity like pushed forth Marvel as an entity, and like their popularity gave growth to characters like Spider-Man, Hulk, etc. Right? So like that's why I think like they like Marvel like it's like a key part of Marvel history. That's why like they're being pushed a bit more. Also, like I guess like it signifies like finally like Fox's full merger into the MCU. Like we've seen like brief glances of like Fox characters like in Deadpool and Wolverine. We saw some in Multiverse of Madness. We saw some of the characters, but like this is like the first time like they become a full part. Like some characters become full parts of like the MCU, right? So like that's a
And I don't know, isn't Doctor Doom like canonically more like a Fantastic Four villain or something
yeah,
along those
yeah,
lines?
he
I'm not
is,
sure
he
about
is,
this.
he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I think the whole next phase or whatever they want to call it is going to be very centered around Fantastic Four, unless the Fantastic Four movie flops. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think it will. I don't think it will. Honestly, it's like
I
super
think
bad.
they're trying to do a lot to make sure that that doesn't
Yeah.
happen.
It's
Yeah.
probably like I don't know, like looking at like how Marvel movies are doing at the box office. I don't know anymore. But like if this was like a few years ago, like I'd say like it's easily gonna cost 1 billion in the box office. But like now, right now, I think like it's probably gonna at least gross a solid 400 million. Like plus like 500 million plus, like it's probably gonna go into the 700-800 millions because I think Falcon, like the Falcon Captain America movie. I think Captain America Brave New World that grossed like 480 something. Thunderbolts is going like it started off lower than the Captain America, but like now it's in a high, so it's probably gonna end at like the 400 500 mark too. So I think it's probably like it's safe to say like the Fantastic Four movie, like even if like it goes on to like ratings are super bad, it's still gonna go into 600 700 million range. And if it's like really really good and like gets a lot of rave reviews, it's probably gonna cross the 1 billion mark for sure.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think that's a good point to cut it off.
Yeah,
Um, well, this was our spoiler-free and spoiler included review
yeah, it was
of.
our comprehensive review on the Thunderbolts. So I hope you guys liked it. We'll see you again next week. Bye.
Yeah, wait. You gotta like, you gotta subscribe, uh, do some commenting. What can you comment on? Any questions?
Any questions, anything you guys like,
No,
hate it?
no. Like, give them. We gotta give them a question.
Question?
Give them. Yeah. Did you watch Thunderbolts? Did you like it? I don't know. We let us know how much you liked it. How much would you rate the movie? Actually, let's rate the movie out of.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. Rate the movie, I guess. Like, give us your takes. We're kind of new at reviewing things, so it's gonna be a
Yeah,
bit rough at the start, but
but
we're
we should
getting.
also rate it. We
Yeah,
should rate it. Give our final rating, and then we'll leave it at that.
yeah.
Leave your rating down in the comments, and then we'll rate it right now. I think I'm very harsh. I'll rate it a 7.
7, yeah, around 10. I'd say yeah, 7 is a good mark. Like 6.57, because like we just started. We've like been cutting off each other a bit. We've been missing our marks. Like,
We're not rating ourselves, Mera. We're rating the movie.
oh, the movie.
You dumb fuck.
um, uh, the movie. The movie. I'd say I like the movie a lot. I'd say like the movie would be like an 8, 8.5.
I think 7 for
Yeah.
me is like high. I would
I'd say I
probably.
wasn't. It was a very good movie. I wasn't like absolutely blown away or like this was like something extraordinary. But I'd say it was a very good movie. I'd rate it an 8. Like 9 would probably be too much, but I could understand how like a lot of people like coming back to Marvel and honestly like enjoying a first Marvel movie in a while could say that it was a 9 or 9 plus for them. But yeah, 8 for me.
For me, it was like a 6.5. I'm being generous. I'm giving it a 7. But that's a good score for me. Seven's a recommend to watch. Uh, but yeah, I think that's a good place to stop it. Uh, but yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks for joining us. Take care.